All right. Good morning, everyone. And thank you so much for joining us all here today. All right. We are getting on to the fifth advantage of having bitachon over the alchemist. We have the story of the alchemist this alchemist puts full faith in his counterfeit ways of fool's gold or whatever else it is that he's doing in order to multiply his wealth. And the fifth way in which one who relies on Hashem is better off than the alchemist. Sorry, before we start, this shir should be Le'ilu Nishmas, our dear friend, Menachem ben Yisrael Yaakov, as well as my dear aunt, Rivka Bas Gavriel Tzvi, and the Refuah Shalema, Bekarov Meshalom ben Sarah Rachel, and the Refuah Shalema, Miriam Bas Sarah. Okay. The fifth advantage of bitachon over alchemy, v'achamishi, shabal hakamiya, tachas yirav v'fachad amalachto min hagodol v'ada koton shabam, that the alchemist, on the account of his illegal nature of his craft, he's always burdened with the fear and dread of every person, from the greatest of authority, like the top of the food chain, until the common folk in population. Now, we spoke about this before, that the alchemist is in one, that was it the second one or the third one of the advantages. Here is a little bit different over here. Here, the alchemist didn't have any friends. He didn't have any friends because he couldn't share his secret with anyone. Over here, in the fifth level, the alchemist doesn't have any friends. He's afraid of everybody. He's afraid of anybody finding out. So the difference is not in the fact that he doesn't want to know anyone. Over here, he's just afraid of everyone that they might find out. But regarding the one who trusts in Hashem, the opposite is true. This person is feared by all. He's going to explain what that means in a minute. Not only the common folk, but even the greatest leaders and noblemen in awe of this person. It doesn't mean that, just like the opposite of the alchemist is afraid of everyone, that everyone's afraid of someone in bitachon. It's not necessarily afraid, but when somebody exudes bitachon, every single person around every single person around the person with bitachon, they respect him on a different level. They see that this person has confidence and love, and he has full trust in Hashem, that they wind up revering him. They respect him just on a whole different level as they would anybody else, because they see that this person is so sincere and so full of truth. Moreover, even the animals and the stones seek his favor. That meaning even the natural habitats of our world are out there to seek our favor. The person with bitachon kamoshanema b'mizmor yoshev b'seiser elyon ad acharisai. It says in the pasuk in Tehillim, it says from the beginning of the pasuk, it says until its end. And the pasuk there makes clear that one who places his trust in Hashem is safe from stones and even dangerous animals, because all those things are also submissive to Hashem's decree, that everything they do, where that stone is placed, where the animal, the lion, or any other creature might attack or not attack you, those are all decrees from Hashem. And it also says, it also says that for six tzaras I will save you, and in the seventh one no harm will reach you. And it says further, in times of famine, he will deliver you from death, and you won't die. You won't die of starvation. And in war, from power of the sword, that you wouldn't be killed by the sword. At soifa inyan. And the pasuk there continues, and he says, until the end of the pasuk, which reads, for you will have a treaty with the stones in the field and the beasts of the field, and will be at peace with you. The pasuk over here is trying to explain a person who trusts in Hashem will always find that he doesn't have that fear of all these other people or other creatures or other objects in this world, because he understands that those things are decreed only by Hashem, and the only thing that's going to happen to him are things that are deserving of him. We're going to go into further, you're going to see later that the feeling that we have of trust is not necessarily that nothing's going to happen to us. You're going to see soon, when we talk about it, that we do understand things might happen to us, but the difference is we understand that they happen for our good and our benefit. Now, moving along. The sixth advantage of bitachon over the alchemist. V'ashishi. Shabal ha'kamiya eine betuach be'echaloim v'hamadvim. The alchemist, he can never be confident that he will never suffer any illnesses or afflictions. Now again, the sixth is different than the second one, where it talks about that he will become sick from his occupational hazard because he's using chemicals and he's using fires and stuff like that. Here is different. That over there we spoke about it's an occupational hazard directly correlated to what he's doing for work. Over here, the alchemist is never assured that he won't have any kind of other illnesses in his life or any problems in his life. What's the whole idea of the alchemist? He says, look, if I have money, I own everything, I'm comfortable for the rest of my life. He doesn't realize that that's not going to be everything. That even if he fools the whole world and he does have money and everything, it doesn't mean he's safe from illnesses and all those other kind of trials and tribulations that are going to come his way. That would mar the joy in his wealth. All these things that he becomes sick or he has other trials and tribulations, the joy that he has in his wealth are going to be diminished. And would not allow him to derive practical benefit from what he has. Nor to delight and take pride in what he has amassed, all his wealth, all his assets. The person who has bitachon Hashem, batuach min madvim v'chaloim elo derech akapara or derech atmura. That the one who has bitachon Hashem, however, is assured that he will remain free from afflictions and illnesses except when they are for his benefit, either as form of atonement for previous sins or in exchange for additional merits. Thus, the joy of a person with bitachon will never be marred or even is afflicted but recognizes the benefit of affliction by the time of Hashem. He talks about over here what we just started talking about, that in essence, bitachon here and also throughout these different advantages we talk about, the person with bitachon is different than the alchemist, because the alchemist, he's also going to have trials and tribulations. There's no difference. Everyone's going to have those trials and tribulations in their life. The difference between the person with bitachon and the person who's the alchemist is the alchemist is always worried about it and is always reliant on natural causes. Whereas we're going to learn, and we have learned previously, that one who trusts in Hashem, it's not that they won't have trials and tribulations. They just understand that the trials and tribulations that we have in our daily life is what Hashem ordained for us, decreed for us, because that's what's for our ultimate benefit, even if we don't understand it. And even if it isn't for our ultimate benefit, we're going to learn soon that sometimes Hashem gives us punishment is because we did averos and we deserve a punishment. Or sometimes it's because Hashem is going to give us the pain on this world so that He can give us a much, much better Gan Eden when Olam Haba. And so we're going to learn that as we keep on going along. And the Rav Av cites a few psakim over here that kind of support the differences over here. It says, this is a constant with what he has written in his own resources. It says, youths may weary and tire, and young men may constantly stumble. Over there, the pasuk is saying this: when you have your trust in your youth, in your agility, that you could do things, you will get tired. And then he goes further, he says, V'amer v'koyach Hashem yechalifu koyach. And he says, what the pasuk says about those who trust in Hashem, but those whose hope is in Hashem will have renewed strength. That even when you get old and you're weak, are you still going to be able to accomplish and conquer and rejoice in those benefits? Because you have bitachon, and it's not your physical ability that is making you capable of these wins. And it says likewise, the arms of the wicked will be broken, but the support of the righteous people is Hashem. And we see this time and time again. We see where when we trust in Hashem, a person will not lack. David HaMelech says it many, many times in Tehillim, and he compares Hashem to a person as a shepherd and his sheep. That the sheep have full trust in the shepherd. And when David HaMelech was running away, and he was running into the desert, he had full belief and trust in Hashem that he will be taken care of even in the desert when those times come. There was a story when it talks about Nebuchadnezzar, when Nebuchadnezzar, he threw Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah into a fiery furnace. In the fiery furnace, he threw them in because they wouldn't bow to his statue. And what they said over there was, he said, they said, behold, our God, whom we worship, is able to save us from this fiery burning furnace and from your hand, from Nebuchadnezzar, and he will rescue us. And they added to that even if Hashem chose not to save them, they were prepared to die al Kiddush Hashem. And what happened? Nebuchadnezzar threw them in there, and then obviously Hashem sent a malach and saved them, and they came out perfectly unharmed. When they came out, Nebuchadnezzar said, blessed is your God, who sent an angel and saved his servants, who relied on him. You see over there, the terminology over there was that the people that he threw in, the tzaddikim they threw in there, what was the reason they were saved? They relied, they had bitachon in Hashem. Similarly, it says over there in Daniel, it says when he was brought up from the lion's pit, nothing happened to him, even though he was in the pit full of hungry lions. Why? He said over there, for he had trusted in his God. Here as well we see that bitachon is the essence of what our outcome will be. It's not anything else but that we trust that in Hashem, that everything is for our good, and Hashem does every single thing for our good. But also understanding that when things don't seem seemingly for our favor, they're still there for a purpose. They're still there for a purpose to serve us. Maybe it's because we need that because we did an Avera. Or maybe like we learned it's supposed to be there because Hashem wants to give us a bigger chelik in Elam Haba. Or maybe we just don't understand today yet that benefit that we're going to derive from this seemingly harsh environment that we have. And so, we learned today, the person with bitachon, we learned a couple more reasons why we are so much better off than the alchemist. Use that in your every single day going forward in order to be able to get yourself better and feel better about yourself, and so you don't have these worries in your life. Thank you everyone for joining us today from near and far, waking up early. I really appreciate it, and I love you all.